morning. This is the day the Lord has made, so let us rejoice and be glad in it. I'm Pastor Marianne Kellenbach, pastor at Living Faith Church, which is located in the community of Tradition in the city of Port St. Lucie in the state of Florida. And today is Friday, September the 24th in the year 2021. And I would like to shout out happy birthday to my oldest stepson, Dan. Happy birthday. He is 48 years old today. So happy birthday to you. What a week we've had. We've had a chance to dwell in this parable from Mark. And by the way, it's in all three Gospels, synoptic Gospels. So remember, we look at Matthew, Mark, and Luke together as a single story. Okay, we put it synoptic. They go side by side. We look at the whole thing because each of the authors has a different perspective in which they tell the story about Jesus. And then John is a separate gospel all on its own. So just like we might see something that occurs, we each might have our own particular bias or slant or telling of the story. And so I might, for example, if I see someone walking down the street, I might say, wow, that person looks very relaxed when they're walking down the street. And somebody else might say, wow, I really like what that person was wearing when they were walking down the street. And somebody else might say, you know, there was a dog. This person was walking down the street with their dog. So you need all three to really get an idea of what's going on. Okay, somebody looked very relaxed. They were walking their dog down the street, and this is what they were wearing. So that's what we're looking at when we say synoptic. All three lenses are taken together. So we're actually looking at this particular parable from the standpoint of Mark. Mark is all focused on the kingdom of God and urgent, right? Mark is all about wanting to get the story of Jesus down as fast as possible before it is forgotten. Prior to that, all these stories were shared. They were talked about as they called it gossiping the gospel. And so gossiping the good news, sharing the good news with each other. Well, somebody finally said, my gosh, Mark said, we got to get this down on paper. And so Mark was the very first gospel to be written, and then after that came the other gospels, the last of which was John. And John is in and of itself, and we'll have that conversation another day. But for this morning's devotion, let me get back to where we are. Let's take a look at this parable again from Mark. And I'm going to read from, let's see, which translation? Let's use the one that I used yesterday. Remember, we talked about that the original Bible is written, the New Testament is written in Greek, and therefore it has to be translated into the different languages. Here in the United States, we tend to early on looked at the King James version of that translation because of the founders of this country in which I was born. And so they brought with them their King James translation. And so there are many who have translated the Bible since then. And we've talked about how I could translate the Greek into English, as could you if you knew the language. So let's look at the CEB version. Jesus continued, what's a good image for God's kingdom? Notice image. What's a good image for God's kingdom? What parable can I use to explain it? Well, consider a mustard seed. When scattered on the ground, it's the smallest of all the seeds on the earth. But when it's planted, it grows and becomes the largest of all vegetable plants. It produces such large branches that the birds in the sky are able to nest in its shade. I love that. That's what we're going to focus on today is the birds. So we've been talking about what the seed is, and that the seed is the kingdom itself, and that the kingdom is sown here on earth. It's hidden, right? It's hidden. And then we can start to see manifestations of this very small seed, the kingdom, now growing into something that is producing, vegetation and so big that it becomes visible. But here's the key for this day, for you to think about. its branches extend to the point where the birds are able to nest, to have a place where they can rest. The birds of the sky have a place where they can nest in the shade. And what this is saying is the kingdom of God is for all. It is for everyone. I touched on that a little bit yesterday. It's for everyone. All of creation. All of creation. On this day, when you head out and you look up in a tree or you hear a bird or maybe there's a squirrel's nest or something in that particular tree or bush. By me here, there's lots and lots of bushes in which there were definitely a lot of nests of mockingbirds, right? A lot of nests, the place where I wouldn't even expect there would be one. I want you to think about how God has provided room in the kingdom for every one of us, everyone and all of God's creation. So as the kingdom grows, remember, it is for all. God has a place for all. Blessings to you on this day, and I will see you back here tomorrow for Centering Prayer Day.